Hello everyone, GL1 here, and today I'm going to begin by showing you my first set of Minicons. Now, Minicons came out with Transformers Armada back in 2001, and these came out probably around 2002. So this was my first set of Minicons, and I'm going to show you what they do. So this one is Wreckage. And the missiles that do come out are pressure launched. So you push on it from the back, and hopefully, there you go. You push on it, it's got that little sphere in there that's cupped, and if you push hard enough, it shoots off past the sphere. And you know, the idea behind that is we're not going to actually put a spring in there. So I guess that is less expensive to produce. So Minicons were Transformers that would help out the larger Transformers, such as Optimus Prime or Megatron or anyone else, Jetfire, and little tiny robots. And what they would do is, you see this little round circle with the divot. Well, that would attach to your Transformer and give it supposedly more power. And it would, by this divot, would press in on a button sometimes, and that would activate like an extra gun or a feature or something like that. Sometimes it would just do nothing, and it would just, you know, attach to your Transformer, and you would just pretend that now it has Minicon power. So that's Wreckage. And then if you look here on the back, that's the symbol for the Minicons. Okay, so that's Wreckage. And this one is one of my favorites, and even though I have probably around 50 or more Minicons, this one still always remained one of my favorites. This is Knockout, and what I liked about it is it actually has 3 working wheels on each side, and it has a spring-loaded missile, and that is not common on the Minicons. So you push that in and fire that. All right, and then there's his attachment area, and the little arms come out, and then the legs unfold, and there's the Minicon symbol right there. And then you move this over, and then up pops his little head, and then he's got his missile in there, and then you can reload his missile. And he is ready. Not only is he ready to help the larger Transformers, right, but because he can launch, you know, a missile with a spring, I pretend that's more powerful, right? Because you don't have to do anything other than push the button there. All right, so that is Knockout. And then last is Bone Crusher. And Bone Crusher is another pressure-loaded missile, but it only has one. And this one is actually a little bit complicated to transform, because you kind of have to twist it as well. So you have your gas tank in the back, and let's see where the Minicon symbol is. Not sure where it is. All right, but that's fun that we don't know. All right, and then we're gonna, let's see, pull that apart and then twist them around, and then we gotta move this out of the way. And then this becomes one of the arms, and then let's see, and then he's got his head. Let's see, I think I'm forgetting something here. Then you have to take this piece and twist that around backwards, then push this over here, and then those wheels have little semicircles to push into. Then you move the head over, and it's got like a, you know, just a single beam. I don't know, I guess that's the face underneath, and then that's the eye, so it's kind of like Soundwave, where it has a single eye, and then he's got, you know, his launching missile arm, and then the fist, and then there you go. And then it can attach as a Minicon, the Minicon attachment. Yeah, it's now on the shoulder. You have a shoulder one as well, as when it's transformed the other way, it's on the back. All right, so that is Bone Crusher. Now, This would not be as exciting if I didn't have something else to show you about this, and here it comes. So there were a lot of knockoffs at the time, and I don't know how they get away with making a patented toy, basically completely copying it, but it's different because it's larger. So all right, so here is Wreckage Knockout. Okay, so the missiles are very much the same. If you'll look, they're just gigantic. And then you have your pressure launch in there. Now, the thing about knockoffs, almost always the plastic is not as good. So these are, 22, 23 years, like 22 years old, and the plastic is still good. It's still soft. It's not breaking. Like Legos. Lego plastic is incredible. I have some Legos that are 50 years old and they still are good to go. This plastic is harder and brittle, and I don't want to even push on this to push that out because I could see it where it snaps, the plastic snaps. But I wanted to show you, it even has, there you go. So that's where you would attach your Minicon, right? But it's not, it's really not functional. But they even went as far to have copied that. Now that face is a little bit different, but look, you still have the two little like lights on the sides there, and it transforms exactly the same way. Now it has rolling wheels, which is cool, and sometimes this has rolling wheels as well. Sometimes the knockoffs are actually really well thought out. There are some knockoffs that are better than the original toys, though the plastic is still going to be inferior. All right, so there we have Wreckage Knockoff, and Wreckage Knockoff, trying to, if we can get him to stand there, clicks in. All right, so Wreckage Knockoff. And he fell over. All right, and then we have Knockout Knockoff. All right, so gigantic. Okay, same wheels. Same. They have the little grips on the sides, as you can see, and it has a gigantic spring-loaded missile. Now, unfortunately, I was telling you about how the plastic gets brittle. So you know how this one swings over and pulls up his head? Well, this worked until I was getting ready for the show, and then... All right, we had a little interruption there, no problem. So, the plastic broke. So I had to glue his head so that it would just stay up all the time, but no big deal. Now, here's what I want to show you about this. So it transforms the same way, all right? But this is what's fun with this. Spring-loaded missile, all right? Let's see if we can get him to stand up. Get the weight of the missiles to maybe pull him forward a little bit so it doesn't fall, right? Let's see. Okay. All right, watch how this missile fires. Oh, well, let's see, it didn't. Okay, let's try again. Big missile, big firing, knock him down. So that's pretty cool. That would definitely be one of, if not the largest missile in all of Transformerdom. I don't think I have any Transformers with a missile that big. So again, sometimes the knockoffs have something really unique and cool. And then last is Bone Crusher Knockoff, and it transforms the same way. However, with Bone Crusher Knockoff, you could pull this off. I had to put like a little bit of tissue paper to have it hold on to the divot there. But this one, you can actually switch these around if you wanted to. And for some reason, I had them opposite, and it took me a minute to figure that out. And then you can see there's this little smiling robot face. Okay, so this is a case where, the knockoffs are actually pretty cool. This is a neat detail. So you see how you have two rolling wheels and one rolling wheel and then one non-rolling wheel, right? Well, it's exactly the same as this. So if I can transform this quickly. This is not one of the easier ones for me to transform, and then you got to twist the whole thing around and then turn that around, and really got to practice these things. All right, see there? Okay, there's that. All right, so if you look from the side, once again, you have the same wheel arrangement. You have one rolling, two rolling here, and then it's a fake non-rolling wheel. And they did the same thing. And notice how it has the 5 little divots inside, like bolts, and this has the 5 bolts. So they really copied it, and this was before 3D printers. So it's not like they went and they had a scanner that, scanned the toy and then put it in a computer and printed it. Somebody had to, I guess, take measurements, draw it out, and then make a mold. And then I don't know how they legally make a mold of this stuff and then sell it, but they did, and here it is. All right, well, I have a lot of knockoffs, okay? And I'm not going to show you a lot of them today. This is going to be the last one I'm going to show you, but I will be doing a show soon on all the knockoffs that I can find or that I have, and I think that'll be fun, but I might do something else before I get to that. So this is knockoff Inferno combiner transformer, and I'm going to show you the original. Oh, look at that. He's so big, it's not even in the camera all the way. So there we go. All right, so knockoff Inferno combiner, and then Takara Hasbro knockoff Inferno. And I think you can see that there's obvious differences, but a lot of similarities as well. So what you have is Inferno is a fire engine. So the main transformer, there's 5 transformers here. You have your main transformer is the center vehicle, and then you have a different vehicle for each arm. Okay, so that's 5. Some of the combiners actually have a 6th transformer that goes in the chest and becomes like a chest armor. But when I do combiner transformers, of which I have several of those, I will show you that as well. All right, so these are all rescue bots, as you can probably see, obviously. So you have, a rescue helicopter for an arm, and then a knockoff rescue helicopter arm, and then, like an emergency, maybe the fire chief or police. Yep, that's a police car. And this one, I think, has like a police truck. Or no, that's a police car. So you can make, and with the knockoff as well, you can use the different transformers to be the different parts. So this helicopter can be a leg as well as an arm, and the truck can be a leg as well as an arm. But I think it only works best certain ways. So what I wanted to do with the Hasbro Takara version is have the lighter transformers be the arms. They're more delicate, and they use these arm pieces for their joint. You see, so there's your elbow, and I actually put the plastic bungees on them to help hold them together. And then the legs, I used the heavier vehicles, just more solid. And that's similar to what with the knockoff, although they used the motorcycle, which made a great leg, actually, and then they used the rescue truck. I mean, you could see it's very similar in how they made them. It's just smaller. It's also, well, you can hear the plastic. Listen. It's that sort of, I don't want to say, it is a cheaper plastic. It's certainly not as durable a plastic, but it's on this one, it's good enough. And this is a pretty nice Transformer toy for a knockoff. The thing about the knockoffs are they cost a lot less. So this was, if I remember correctly, $7.99, like $8. Okay. This, I'm lucky. I can get something like this. I got this for probably $30. I know that there was a bunch of them that I got for $30, but you'll see this online for $300 to $500. It's insane. But this also a heavier plastic compared with the knockoff. that doesn't justify the price, but it certainly is a better plastic. Also, now the hookups are different. So the way this arm hooks up here, there's a spring-loaded little piece here. I'll show you that. See, that springs in. Okay, so there's a spring in there, and that locks the arm in place. Okay, and you can see there's really some fine detail on this motorcycle. Now, this the 4-pack actually of Transformers here, okay, are also a knockoff, but they are a really good knockoff. Now, the centerpiece is a Hasbro Takara Inferno Transformer, okay? But I was able to find knockoff pieces for the arms and legs because they sold them all separately, and I have more centerpieces than I have arms and legs. So I was able to find knockoff pieces for like $20. So between the price of this, which I think was clearance for, like $10, $15, and then I ordered these. But this knockoff is exactly the same quality as what you would get from Hasbro Takara, and it even comes with the hands, same quality. And what's nice about them is they can grip things, and they even have peg spots where you can peg weapons onto them. So you can take this weapon and you can attach it here, okay, and then you can have him close his hand, and then it's like it's holding the gun, even though it's really pegged in, which is actually better than if it was holding the gun, because a lot of like Marvel figures will have, you put the gun in their hand, they're constantly dropping it, and you can also move the thumb up to make it look more realistic. And McFarlane has the same problem. I mean, they don't hold on to their toys very well. And then the problem is they'll make the plastic so hard that you have to boil the plastic to get it soft enough to be able to put the weapon in there. But you can see, okay, so the gun also can peg in that way, from the back of it, or you can combine it with another weapon and make the weapon larger. So, all right, so this is an example of a really fine quality knockoff part that works exactly with a Takara Hasbro piece, okay? Now, what I want to show you, and I will go more in detail with all these accessory, arms and leg Transformers when I actually do, a show on the combiners. But here I wanted to show you mainly just the difference between the knockoffs versions of the combiners. So it just pegs in, just a pressure peg, no springs, and then now he won't stand up because of the weight. But this folds in and out, so you can fold that out of the way, and there's a little head. Okay, so a little robot head. So and that is like there's a line of Transformers. The little head's like the Titans Return line of Transformers. So, just like that, it has a similar, actually, look, it's just larger. And so this knockoff took the idea of having the heads from the Titan Returns become the attachment instead of just using what would happen on the Titan's Return is the little head would turn into a little robot. This turns into it's a much larger robot. And the head would flip around and become a head, whereas this would act as an attachment. Let me show you that. So here's the Optimus Prime from the Titan's Return line that I had in one of my shows the other day. All right, so you see the head comes off, and then you have a little head there, and then it unfolds into a tiny little robot. Okay, so this is Titan's Return. So this is not Titan's Return. This is Combiner Wars. So I think what's interesting is the knockoff took the idea from two different Transformer lines, Combiner Wars and Titan's Return, and then used the head idea instead of to use actually for the head, but as a it could actually be a handle in another fist. So this could become a weapon of sorts, one big weapon, it would fit in there, or it fits into a shoulder peg. So kind of interesting how they, really how knockoffs can utilize. Now this one you see doesn't have any head on it, but how the knockoffs have some very unique features that are pretty cool actually. And it does the same thing for the leg. And there you have, that's going to be your head to your robot motorcycle. Okay. And in this goes in the front, and you see it has like a little plastic. It's not real springs or anything, but just to grab onto that. A little bit of space, and then that snaps in. The nice thing about this knockoff is the ease at which it goes together. And you can turn your head here, and then you have your ladder, that triple length here. All right, that pulls out, but this is going to become a really long fire engine ladder. Okay. And whereas on the original one, it's not intuitive and a little tricky. So if you don't have instructions, it might be difficult to remember how this works. So this one folds all the way around. And usually I can do all my transformers without having to look anything up, but I couldn't figure this one out. So I had to look at a picture of it and figure out how it transformed, because I don't know where my instructions are. But it folds underneath it and all the way around. And then, this can fold, and then that goes to this becomes the back here. And you see, and then that's going to become Inferno, and then this, and then so if you have the small head, you see that's how, and then all of these come off, and here I am actually doing everything. Okay, so I might as well at least do Inferno. So then these spring out, as I showed you before, and then the legs, similar connector, see it's a sliding spring load. Pull that, so you just pull that back a little bit, and then that slides out. It's a more durable connector than the knockoff, but not that much of a difference. All right. What's nice too is that this has a ratchet, spring-loaded ratchet clicking. You see the little triangle, the sharp triangle in there? It's spring-loaded. It's always pulling itself in, and it ratchets over and locks it in place. So that's nice, because that gives you solid movement, and it'll stay in position. All right, so now we're just making Inferno here, and then I have to think this through how this all folds. All right, but let's ignoring that part, because I have to think that through here. And then those fold up, and your fists, and then there you go. Basically, that's Inferno, okay? And then he's got ratchets in his hips, and then in the shoulders. And then, okay, so as you can see, that's Inferno. And you can see it's very much the same, similar build to our knockoff. All right, so with our knockoff, let's see how our knockoff transforms. All right. Okay, and then all of these come out. I'll tell you one thing, the little transformers that attach to it, they turn into their vehicles much easier. All you do is flip that down, and then the foot comes right off, and there's your emergency van. And police car, you just push that in and take the fist off. All right, and then I guess that's going to slide forward. Okay, and this is a police car with a spoiler on the back. Actually, it looks like a Nissan 280ZX. I think that's what it is. All right, and then let's see how our motorcycle head folds in. And there you go, and then the foot comes off. Very simple, right? And not bad plastic, actually. And then helicopter. Take the fist off. We can separate the propeller blades. Those flip around. Fold the head underneath. A little bit of resistance there. I don't want to... See, you know, got to be careful because sometimes when there's resistance, you're like, is it going to break? So what it is you see this little plastic that sticks out there that helps lock it in place. But you got to pull this out slightly, and then that folds down, and then this is going to, swing around there. Be careful with that. See, again, I have resistance in there, and this is not flexible plastic. It's that hard plastic. There we go. All right, and then that pushes in, and then we have our rescue helicopter. All right, let's get to our knockoff Inferno. Let's see how he transforms. Well, that comes off, and then the legs come down. Let's see, I think this comes out, folds up. Push that out, there goes his fist. You see this, and push that out, there's his fist. All right, and there's got to be there's a smaller head in there. So this comes down. There's your smaller head. The head doesn't turn. And then this becomes, I don't know if he just, somehow this swings up. Sometimes they just, really just sit behind them. There's actually an Optimus Prime from 2000 where the ladder, it's a fire engine Optimus Prime. I have it, and I will show it on the show. It's really valuable. I think it's like $300, and it combines with Ultra Magnus. You can combine the two together. It becomes a really big transformer. And it just, the ladder just hangs behind that Optimus as well, and I think that's what this one does too. So not really a great looking figure. Definitely better in his combiner form, right? And then I guess if you wanted, you could put this, let's see, I don't know, this wheel's going to get in the way. You could put that like that. You kind of can't look over his lights too well. Maybe you could, no, that one doesn't go on there. Or you just fold that up and then it's just like that. Okay, so that is how he transforms. Now, I'll transform these into the little robots. Might as well. So that's going to, I assume that's going to flip out. And then there's the arms. This flips back. And they're kind of like Minicons, actually, in that they're very simple transformations. It's got no moving feet. It's just going to be like, like these are my arms. And he's going to wave, hello. Oh, you see the hand there? It's got a little bit of a hand. So it's like, hey, how you doing? And that's, okay, so that's how that, and I guess he could helicopter around, right? If you put that down, and then real quick, he's already in robot form. And then he'll land. And all right, our Nissan 280ZX transformer. Let's see how that transforms. All right. Oh, there's the head. Okay, and then typical, we got door handle, door fender arms. I gotta be careful here with this plastic. With Takara transformers, they're actually made that if you force something too hard, it comes apart, so it won't break. And I'm a little bit leery about these. So, well, that came off. All right. It's not broken, but see, this is what happens sometimes, is when you try to do this stuff. Okay, well, there's an arm. And then I guess those flip around. All right, so there he is with his arms. And I don't know how this goes into the, let's see that. I'm having trouble here with this because I'm thinking this has got to flip up in some way over this. It doesn't sound good. But see, I think this is how it's going to be, like those are the legs, and you just have to, You're supposed to force this over this, and I'm a little concerned I'm going to break it if I do that, so I'm not. All right. And that comes off really easily. Well, this is the thing about knockoffs. You have to be, they don't transform that easily sometimes, and because the plastic is delicate, you don't want to accidentally break it. I mean, you can see this is going to be the same kind of shoulder thing. There, that pops out. There's your arm. And there's your other arm. All right. So again, like a Minicon, very simple. And this piece that came off, yeah, it's just going to fold down in the back. Okay, there's your robot. And then the motorcycle, well, that looks like a hand to me. And there's the head. Very simple, folds back. Oh, and it's just got a single foot. Okay, so he balances on a single foot. So it's two-wheeled and one-footed. All right, so there you go. And if you get too close, he'll get you with his wheel. All right, let me pause this real quick and see if I can get that car together because that's frustrating. Okay, so it took me like 30 seconds. So what I had to do was fold the wing down a certain way, and that gave me the space to be able to move it. It's the New York Police Department. And they're using 280ZXs, huh? Somehow I doubt that. All right, but then he'll stand up like that. Okay, all right, so there you are. Transformers versus knockoff Transformers. And very soon I can show you combiners, and there's just so much more to show you on Transformers. And I look forward to getting back to you with that. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you soon.